Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into something that might just be the future of how we search online.
The future of online search.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've probably heard a little bit about it already.
SearchGPT.
SearchGPT, yeah. And
Yeah.
we've got a ton of sources here for this deep dive, straight from OpenAI themselves, and then also some interesting perspectives from publishers who are watching this very closely.
Yeah, a lot of people are paying attention to this because it's not just like a little update to Google or Bing. It's really a fundamental rethinking of how we find information online.
So paint us a picture here. Like, what's the big idea?
So imagine you're trying to figure out like a complicated topic, like maybe the pros and cons of a new electric car that's out.
Yeah.
Instead of getting a page of links and ads, SearchGPT wants to give you like a clear, concise answer, pulling from the best sources out there
Oh, wow.
and laying it out kind of like you were having a conversation with someone.
So it's not just dumping links. It's actually trying to understand what I want and give me a synthesized answer. Exactly.
That's a huge leap.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting when you think about the people behind it, which is OpenAI, the same folks that made ChatGPT.
Ah, so the AI masterminds are at it again.
Right.
How is this different from ChatGPT, though?
So
Don't they both use AI?
they both use AI, but there's a key difference.
Okay.
ChatGPT is limited by the data it was trained on.
Okay.
Think of it like a really smart student that studied really hard for a test, but the test is on current events. That's where SearchGPT comes in because it's connected to the entire live internet.
Whoa.
So it's constantly updating and learning in real time.
Hold on. So SearchGPT can actually process information as it's being published online.
Yeah.
So if I'm researching something that's constantly evolving, like let's say, I don't know, a political debate or a fast-moving news story,
Yeah.
I'm not getting yesterday's news.
You got it.
Wow.
And this real-time aspect is a big deal for anyone that needs to stay on top of the latest developments, whether it's for work or for personal interest or just to win at trivia night. All right, I'm really intrigued. But let's get down to brass tacks here. How do I actually use this thing?
Yeah.
Is it like typing in a question like I do now, or is it more complicated?
It's actually designed to be simpler.
Oh, okay.
So instead of keyword searches, you can actually ask a question in plain English like you would talk to another person.
Oh, wow.
And then SearchGPT responds with an answer, not just a list of links.
So it's more like having a conversation than barking commands at a search bar.
Exactly.
That sounds promising, but how do I know the information's accurate?
Right.
I mean, is it just taking things at face value from the internet?
So it uses AI to actually analyze and evaluate sources, looking for things like credibility and consistency.
Okay.
It doesn't just blindly grab information.
Yep.
And to make sure you're not just trusting the AI,
Right.
it actually cites all of its sources with links. So you can go and look at the information yourself if you want to.
So it's trying to act like that friend who's like, read everything and can tell you the key points without you having to wade through a ton of stuff yourself.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I like where this is going. But I do have one concern.
Yeah.
What about all the websites and blogs and the content creators out there?
Right.
If people are getting answers directly, are they even going to bother clicking through to those websites anymore?
That is the big question everyone's thinking about.
Right.
But instead of freaking out, a lot of publishers are starting to see SearchGPT as a potential ally rather than a competitor or a threat.
Oh, that's an interesting twist.
Right.
So how does that work?
Yeah,
Or are the publishers getting paid or something?
it's less about direct payment and more about visibility.
Okay.
OpenAI is actually working directly with their publishers to make sure SearchGPT drives traffic back to the original sources of information.
So when I see an answer, I'll also see like links to the articles or websites where the information came from.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a built-in recommendation engine,
yeah,
pointing people toward the best content instead of just summarizing everything itself.
that's a great way to put it. And it benefits both sides because users get high quality information without having to do all that searching.
Right.
And publishers get more exposure for their work.
Yeah, that could be a win-win, especially in a world where everyone's just fighting for attention online.
Totally.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But how is SearchGPT different from like just reading a Wikipedia article or something?
That's a great question.
Wikipedia tries to synthesize information too, right?
Yeah, Wikipedia is a fantastic resource.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's static. It's
Uh-huh.
just a snapshot in time.
Right.
SearchGPT is constantly evolving, and it's incorporating new information as it comes out, and it's tailoring the responses to what you specifically asked it.
So it's like having a live constantly updated encyclopedia
Yeah,
that you can have an actual conversation with.
it is.
That's pretty powerful.
And we're really just at the beginning of what's possible.
Yeah.
One of the most exciting things about SearchGPT is it's not a finished product. OpenAI is constantly tweaking and refining it based on feedback from users and publishers.
So it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
But a very promising one, it sounds like.
definitely.
Before we get too lost in all the technical details, though,
Yeah.
let's talk about the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
What are the potential implications of this technology? How could it change the way we live and learn and interact with the world around us?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Imagine a world where searching for information feels as natural as talking to a knowledgeable friend or a mentor.
Right. Hold that thought. We're going to delve into those big picture implications right after a quick break.
We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.
This is where the deep dive gets really interesting.
So before we went to break, we were talking about how SearchGPT could change how we interact with information, like on a fundamental level.
Right, it's not just about making search easier, but like, what are the ripple effects that could have on how we learn, how we make decisions, even how we connect with each other? Yeah, and to really understand the scope of that, it helps to look at the publishers,
Right.
the people who are creating this information and how they're reacting to this.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how some publishers are actually embracing SearchGPT.
Yeah.
And we have some quotes here that really highlight that
Right.
this change in thinking.
Yeah.
So Nicholas Thompson, the CEO of The Atlantic, he said, AI search is going to become one of the key ways that people navigate the internet. And it's crucial in these early days that the technology is built in a way that values, respects, and protects journalism and publishers. We look forward to partnering with OpenAI in this process and creating a new way for readers to discover The Atlantic.
So he's not just like resigning himself to this new technology. He sees it as a potential partnership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's acknowledging that the way people find information is changing, and instead of fighting it, he's trying to be a part of it.
Yeah, be a part of the solution.
Yeah, and that's something we're seeing with other major publishers as well. We also have a quote from Robert Thompson, the chief executive of News Corp.
Okay.
He said,
Yeah.
Sam and the truly talented team at OpenAI innately understand that for AI-powered search to be effective, it must be founded on the highest quality, most reliable information furnished by trusted sources.
Okay.
For the heavens to be in equilibrium, the relationship between technology and content must be symbiotic, and provenance must be protected.
That's a great quote.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's emphasizing the importance of quality and trust, something that's been a big concern with AI in general.
Yeah, absolutely. He's saying that AI search to be truly valuable. It can't just be like scraping random information off the web.
Right.
It has to be grounded in reliable sources created by people with real expertise.
So it's not about replacing journalists and writers.
Right.
It's about finding ways to elevate their work and make it more accessible.
Exactly.
Okay.
And OpenAI seems to be taking that to heart because one of the things that sets SearchGPT apart is it actually cites its sources.
So it's not trying to hide where it's getting its information.
No, it gives credit where credit is due.
It's actually promoting the original content creators.
Yeah. So when you get an answer from SearchGPT, you'll also see links back to the articles or the websites or research papers or wherever that information came from.
So it's not just summarizing, it's acting as a guide,
Right.
leading users back to the source.
Exactly.
It's almost like a built-in fact-checking mechanism,
Yeah.
encouraging people to go deeper and understand the context.
Right. And that could have a real impact on how we evaluate information online.
Yeah.
Because instead of just taking things at face value, we're encouraged to actually look at the source, consider the author's expertise, and
Right.
really form our own opinions.
That sounds like a pretty big step towards combating misinformation and the whole fake news problem that everyone's always talking about.
Yeah, I think it could be because by highlighting these credible sources
Yeah.
and providing those links back to the original context,
Right.
it kind of helps users develop a more critical eye
Yeah.
and encourages them to question what they read and to seek out multiple perspectives.
And it could also help those who are creating high-quality content actually get the recognition they deserve.
Right, because in a world where attention is everything,
Yeah.
a tool that actually pushes people to those most trustworthy, insightful sources
Right.
could be a really big deal for publishers, for journalists, for researchers, anyone who's creating valuable content.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this could really shake things up.
Yeah.
Not just in how we search, but the whole information ecosystem online.
The whole landscape.
Yeah. But let's zoom out a bit.
Okay.
OpenAI has hinted that they have even bigger plans for SearchGPT, right?
They do.
Like, where are they going with this?
So they've talked about incorporating local information and even commerce into SearchGPT,
Interesting.
which would make it an even more integrated part of our daily lives.
So what would that look like?
Okay, so imagine you're in a new city
Okay.
and you're craving the best tacos in town instead of going to Yelp or whatever.
Right. Scrolling through endless review sites.
You could just ask SearchGPT, like, where are the best tacos near me?
And it wouldn't just give me a list of restaurants, it would actually understand what I mean by best.
Right. It would take into account all these factors, like the reviews, the ratings,
Wow.
maybe even local blogs or what people are saying on social media.
So it's like having a super savvy local friend who knows all the best spots.
Exactly. And it could go beyond just food, too.
Right.
Like, imagine asking for recommendations on anything from hiking trails to, like, the best boutiques, all tailored to where you are and what you're interested in.
That could be huge for travel.
Huge.
Especially if you're trying to get off the beaten path and find those hidden gems.
Totally.
And then when you add in the commerce element, that's when things get really interesting.
Right.
So like instead of just finding information, it's actually helping me do things,
Yes.
make decisions, and maybe even complete transactions.
Exactly.
That's a whole other level of integration.
It is, and it speaks to OpenAI's bigger vision for SearchGPT as not just a search tool, but as a platform, a gateway to a whole world of information and possibilities.
It's almost like having a personal concierge in your pocket,
Right.
ready to answer any question, make any recommendation, and help me navigate both the digital and the physical world.
Exactly. And what's really exciting is that we're just at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, this is still early days for AI-powered search.
Right.
So who knows what kind of innovations are coming next?
Yeah, we're definitely eager to find out, and I'm sure our listeners are too.
I'm sure.
Before we wrap up, though, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier about SearchGPT being this integrated part of our lives.
Yeah, that it's not just a tool we use every now and then, but something that's really woven into how we think, how we learn, how we experience the world.
Right. And that brings up some interesting questions.
It does.
What happens to our own critical thinking skills?
Yeah.
When we have an AI that could just answer any question?
Right. Do we just become more reliant on technology? Or does it actually free us up to explore ideas in new ways?
Those are the kinds of questions we need to be asking.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
As this technology continues to evolve.
For sure.
Okay, so we're back, and I have to say, after that last segment, my mind is buzzing.
Yeah.
We've been talking about SearchGPT as this powerful new search tool, but it sounds like it could be so much more than that.
Yeah.
Like it could actually change how we think and how we learn.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things about SearchGPT is how it might change our relationship with knowledge itself.
Okay.
Imagine a world where anyone, regardless of their background or education, has instant access to this vast library of information that's curated and explained in a way that's really easy to understand.
It's like democratizing knowledge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Making it available to everyone, not just people who have the time or resources to do all this extensive research.
Exactly. It levels the playing field in so many ways.
Yeah.
Think about students who might be struggling with a certain topic. Instead of feeling lost or frustrated, they could just ask SearchGPT and get a really clear explanation.
Okay.
Get personalized examples, maybe even work through problems step by step.
So it's like having a tutor available 24/7
Yeah,
to help you grasp even the most complex concepts.
exactly. And it's not just limited to students.
Right.
Like, think about lifelong learners, people who just love learning,
Yeah.
people who are always curious and want to expand their knowledge. SearchGPT would be perfect for that.
It's like turning the whole internet into this giant interactive learning playground.
Totally, yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if we have this AI that can just answer any question.
Yeah.
Does it make us lazy? Do we lose the ability to think critically and analyze information for ourselves?
That's a really valid concern and something we need to be aware of as we use these technologies.
Right.
But I don't think it's an either-or situation. I think it's about augmenting our thinking, not replacing it.
So explain that a little bit more. How does SearchGPT augment our thinking instead of replacing it?
So right now we spend so much time and energy just finding the information, trying to sift through all this noise online.
Yes.
Just to get to what we actually need, and it can be exhausting.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's like you get lost down this rabbit hole of links and articles. But imagine if that whole process became effortless.
Oh,
Like you could just ask your question and get a clear, concise answer backed up by credible sources.
yeah.
That would free up so much mental energy
Right.
that you could then use to actually think deeply about the information.
So it's like clearing the mental clutter,
Exactly.
giving us more space to really think deeply and creatively about the information.
Yeah, and that's where the real power of AI comes in.
Right.
It's not about replacing human intelligence, it's about amplifying it, giving us the tools and the space to think more strategically, more creatively, and more effectively.
It's like having a thought partner,
Yeah.
someone who can help you see things from different angles,
Right.
challenge your assumptions, and push you to think outside the box.
That's a great way to put it, and that's what excites me about the potential of AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about machines taking over.
Yeah.
It's about humans and machines working together to unlock these new levels of understanding and innovation.
And who knows, maybe in the process, we'll even learn a thing or two about ourselves.
Yeah, totally. The more we interact with these intelligent systems, the more we understand how our own minds work,
Right.
how we process information, how we make decisions. It's kind of a journey of self-discovery,
That's a great way to put it.
as much as a technological revolution.
Well said. And as always, we want to hear from you, our listeners.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on SearchGPT and the future of AI? What excites you? What concerns you?
Right.
And what questions are still swirling around in your mind?
Let us know in the comments and let's keep this conversation going.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Be sure to subscribe for more explorations of the ideas and innovations that are shaping our world.
Yes, definitely.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and keep diving deep.